Alright. Okay, so we've gone over the basics of editors, how GameDev works, like models, stuff, that kind of stuff. And we've gone over variables, which is a big one. Now we're actually going to implement them and make some functionality so that our assets actually do something in our world.
Okay.
So we're going to go into our growing tree blueprint over here, and we're going to look at our event begin play over here. This we don't have to worry about because that was just for demonstration purposes.
Okay.
If you remember, we created the timeline.
Yeah.
So we're going to play this from the start at the beginning of the play. Double click in here, view in here, and now we have to give it something to play along that time. So this is going to be one of the variables that changes over time. So,
okay.
we're going to just make this a float because this is just a number. It's a number that's going to change over time. You can use this number to drive whatever you want.
Okay.
Like it can be abstract or whatever.
Okay.
We're just going to use this to drive the scale. So this is the scale.
That could be like if like an arc, like over time you get hungry or you start getting thirsty.
Yeah.
Like it will be
Exactly. Like you can, or like say you throw a potion at someone and like it does damage over time. Like say you want the damage to go over 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You set the length to 5 seconds, and you can say it does like 0 damage at this time, and then by this time it does 100 damage.
Okay. Or like say then also on that where the variable can change in the sense that like in Diablo, where if you throw like a healing potion or like or a holy potion at like undead, like it will take its life down, or it will take like a cleric's life point up.
Yeah. If it happens over time, you
Yeah.
can either happen instantly, which will happen like in the graph. But if anything happens over time, if anything occurs over a timeline, then this is what you use.
Yeah, but what I meant is like the variable in the sense that like over time, what is it doing? Like, is it making your HP go up, or is it making HP go down, depending on like if you're undead or if you're like
you can
like
do
a
that.
knight or whatever. Then we'll do that.
So we'll have a condition there. So like this will be like this is how intense it is,
Yeah.
and depending on if it's that, then it'll go up by that intensity, or if it's this, then it'll go down by that intensity.
Yeah.
You can do it a bunch of different ways. In coding, there are like a million different ways to do the same thing. It's just choosing the right one.
Yeah.
So we have scale of time.
Autosave?
Yeah, it auto-saves a lot. It's kind of annoying.
Awesome. I prefer that.
Yeah, so all we're going to do here is we're going to shift click and we're just going to make a point. You can see the time is a little bit off because it doesn't snap to anything, so I'm just going to set the time as 0 and the value is 0.
Okay.
And at 5 seconds,
the value there is the scale.
Well, it's just an abstract value at this point. We haven't told it that it's a scale.
Okay, now I mean like that's what we're planning to use it.
Yeah, we're going to use it as a scale. So I'm setting the time there is 5 and the value, wherever the hell that is, zoom out, check it there. The value is 1. Because this isn't like 100%, it's just like scale 0 to 1. Cool. So that's all we have right now. Okay, I'm not going to worry about curves. So that's all we have. And if we go back into our event graph, we can see now we have a new variable coming out of here, which is our new track that we've made.
Okay.
So over time, every time this updates, so every tick, this event's going to fire out of here. And this is going to update with that.
Okay.
So you can see there's 2 events coming out of here, the update and the finished. This is going to update like the tick that I showed you before, and this is going to update once.
Okay.
So as soon as it finishes, that's going to fire for once. So update is what we're going to worry about here because we want it to happen like every single frame we want it to change, essentially. So we're going to grab out a reference for our tree. We're going to drag this into the graph here.
Okay.
Essentially, it just looks like a variable because it pretty much is in our variable components over here.
Okay.
It's a thing.
It's a component.
Yeah. And now we're going to drag out this. And now from here, we get a whole other set of functions because this is now talking to a static mesh.
Okay.
So any function that has anything to do with the static mesh, if it's like changing the scale or changing the color of it, it's going to be listed in here. You have like collision, all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Again, too much to worry about. It's with the scale. Scale is get world scale or set world scale.
I like the search function, it makes it so much easier.
You need that. You can't search for stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
So we're going to look for set world scale 3D.
Okay.
Right, and that brings out another function. And now we have a different kind of variable here. This one's a yellow one, this one's a green one.
Okay.
They can't plug directly, okay, they can't, some of them can plug directly into each other.
They can't plug straight
but they don't like talking to each other directly a lot of the time.
Okay.
Like sometimes when you plug one directly into the other one, it'll do a conversion, but sometimes you might lose data or it'll be inaccurate in that regard.
Okay.
How are you, Woodley? What's up?
Hello, I'm going to bed, I'm really tired.
Alright, nothing.
Got it back.
Okay.
I'll take plugs out later.
Feel better? Yeah, well. Cool. So, you know what a float value is, right? It's just one number that's changing.
Okay.
This value is a vector value. A vector is just 3 numbers. So it's giving like, 3 numbers. It might be X, Y, Z, or it might just be 3 different values that you're trying to keep track of.
Okay.
We've got to convert one number into 3 numbers. So we're going to drag this one out, we're going to say make. So this is going to make a vector,
Vector.
and look at that, it's out of 3 floats. So we can just plug this value into 3 of these points.
Okay, so it's it's not independent of like it has to be 3. Okay, that makes sense.
So it's just copying this value 3 times and just putting it in all three slots.
Yeah.
And now what we're going to do is under the update, I'm going to plug that into set world scale 3D.
Yeah.
So essentially,
I'm starting to see how your inventory thing was really hard to do.
I'm gonna show you a clip later that it busted my balls.
Did
dude.
you record yourself doing that?
When I figured out what the hell was going wrong, I had to click record because I was fuming. You'll see.
But yeah, no, I'm starting to get a better idea.
Yeah. So essentially, we start as soon as our actor gets placed into the world. Then we're gonna start from the beginning of this timeline. Timeline goes from 0 to 1 over 5 seconds, and that value is driving the 3 points of our vector. That vector is getting put into the scale of this tree. So you can see how it's all referencing each other. You can see the physical lines of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
When you
I might set up mine a little bit differently.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of different things.
Pretty much like in order of how it works.
You can do nice alignment. Well, that's disgusting alignment. Okay, that just broke. You can make these things all really nice, or you can do something disgusting like this. Blueprint. Spaghetti. This is the bane of blueprints.
Oh my word, what?
This is what happens sometimes when too much happens in Unreal Engine. That's the same editor.
Yeah.
That's
all what it's doing.
No, hell no.
The
creator doesn't know. It's got a mind of its own now.
You put one line in and just started going. I like that.
Can't tell the difference, to be honest. But
brilliant.
you can
see, like that. That's what I'm talking about.
I have a lot of systems like this. I can actually show you some of my code if you want later. But this is much easier. It's much easier to follow. You can see it's going through different steps essentially, but it's much more organized.
Yeah.
Even stuff like this is much more organized than other stuff. But this, you can see how quickly you can lose track of values. Like you're saying, where the hell does this one go? Oh, you got to trace it all the way up here. And what's this doing? And it goes through here. And
yeah.
It gets lost really very easily. So it's
well
well worth. God, I love how this guy just put one comment to try and organize things. I was going to say, what you can do is you can use reroute nodes and you can use comments to try and organize your code. You can also collapse things into functions to essentially take a portion of this, say you want to take this, and you collapse it into one node, so it creates just one line. So it's much easier to follow the logic of things.
But then, if you want, you can expand that node.
Yeah, you can. You double click on that node and it opens up a new editor, essentially. And then comments are essentially you put a border around things and you say what this function does. So it's nice, easy to keep track of things. And then reroute nodes are essentially just a way of saying your line goes here and then it goes here. So it's a nice way of I think this guy doesn't use it. Nobody uses it. They're disgusting cretins. Essentially, reroute nodes are a way of showing where you want your stuff to go. So if I think I double click on here, then it's a nice way of saying I can direct the line down here to go around a function or something, and then it can go up there. You can.
So it's just redirecting the actual line.
It's not changing any of the logic. All of that stuff is just for organization, you need it. You need to keep track of that, otherwise you're going to get lost.
Yeah, I think that will become one of my best friends.
Yeah. What was I going to do? I don't think I was going to worry about anything. Right, so we have this all set up. So I think this is all going to work, unless I plug this into the wrong one, but let's find out. So, I'm going to plug this into the world, and I'm going to press play. It's unresolved editor. Are you sure you want to play this? No. Okay, so I think I know what's gone wrong. Yeah. So this is just now event. It's just saying this event doesn't exist anymore because I deleted from the other one.
Okay.
So you can see. Yeah, no, I'm not worrying about that. We're not worrying about this debug stuff anymore. It's just for showing how to change strings.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to compile that. That's all good. So
was that the default stuff that already came with the...
No. That was just stuff that I made.
This, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is all commented and it's all nice. This is just the movement of the characters. You can see it's taking the input and using that to set the controller input.
Okay.
And all
I'll have a closer look at that to get more familiar.
Yeah. You're going to want to look through some of the default stuff because that's all set up perfectly.
Yeah.
That's Unreal Engine's user verified gold star code.
Yeah. Try and copy it and then learn from there how to make it your own.
It's all basic stuff, but it gives you a very good understanding.
Yeah.
They also have content examples to show you a lot of the stuff about animation and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's very good to read through a lot of those documentations.
Okay.
Unreal Engine has like a whole site set up to show all the different examples. Like if I were to say right click on this and I say go help, I'm sure there's a button for it. View documentation. No one doesn't have documentation. Which one has documentation? Begin play must have. Begin play. Why isn't there documentation on this? Maybe it's not connected to the internet properly. But essentially, you are able to like go on their site, Google what you, or like search what you want, and it'll give you the function. It'll show you like what needs input, like common issues with it, like what people run into. So it's like a good way to find out what's going wrong with your blueprint.
Okay.
And then how it all works and that kind of stuff. But yeah, anything Unreal Engine, like watch through their videos, read their documentation, all good stuff.
Okay.
So that's our issue there.
Subscribe to the channel as well.
Yeah, definitely. They have very good starter videos, which I'd suggest you look through.
Yeah, definitely.
They're going to describe everything like a million times better than I am. So you can see here when I click. Yeah, you can see when I click compile here, it showed that there was something wrong, even though it was in a different blueprint. So it shows you that like if you play, something's going to go wrong maybe.
And then click play and then something went wrong.
Yeah. So click play, and now everything's right. And you can see, there's our tree growing. Yay! And over 5 seconds, right, it stops. Bada bing! So that's very cool, I think.
I think so.
So that's our first reactive thing. Give yourself a high five, because I'm not doing it. Woo! And now, if you want, like, we can string this together. So we can say, get the scale time here. Oh wait, I'm just going to drag off the pin string to here. And make it scale time, and I'm going to just drag it right into here, converts it into a string, so it just gets the value, converts it into something readable.
Okay.
And now every frame, it's going to print out the size of it, so you can see, you can actually keep track of it now.
Okay.
And once it's fully grown, it's at 1, it stops.
It stops.
Because that's now it's stopped doing the update. That's just a way to show it.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to.
What did we like?
We were saying that we were going to have a little character walking around and then trying to cut down trees and then have the tree have an age. So the way that I can say the age is essentially just use the scale here. Well, I'm going to do it in a different one. No. I think it's like a million ways to do this. So you've got to wonder like what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to set the age of this, but I'm not going to print it or anything, so it's going to be some data that's there, but we're not accessing it.
Okay.
I'm just going to delete my string here because we don't need that at all. And create a new variable. I'm just going to say tree age. Tree age, there you go. It's just going to be a float. Right. Let's compile that. I shouldn't have compiled it there, so don't do that. We're just going to drag this out. When we let go, we're be great about two things. We want to say, do we want to get the data or do we want to change it to something else?
Okay.
In this case, we want to change it to something else. So we're going to say set. So after it's changed the world scale, I'm going to drag the next execution pin over here, and now we're going to set the scale time as the tree age over here. Okay. So essentially, this is just a value from 0 to 1 that it changes.
Yeah.
So if we say, look at the tree's age, 2.5 seconds of the way through. The growth of it's going to be 0.5 because it's a scale 0 to 1. It's exactly halfway through.
Yeah.
Math's throat is dying.
So there could be a lot of maths just involved in just specifically that.
Yeah.
Because like,
Right.
Yes.
So,
fucking Batman.
Yeah. That's what I played today, so I might as well be.
Yeah, that was. I still something about that.
Freaking creepy, dude. I'll let you know later. Right. So that's all we have to worry about really now. It's setting the tree age, but we're not viewing it, so it's just a hidden variable that's being changed. Okay. So there's some data in the background that's going on.
Yeah.
Most data in games you don't see. Like, there's just too much data to worry about visualizing it all.
Yeah.
Anyway. Now we're going to work on the next one. Next one we're going to do is the little guy moving around, and we're going to use some of the default movement that's built into Unreal Engine. So like one of the features that it has is some basic AI, like built by default. All you have to do is you have to call one of those boxes, those functions, and it's simple AI movement.
Okay.
So you give it a location and it's like, cool, I'm going to try and move there with my built-in components. It's going to use the navigation mesh to do all that. It's really nice because you don't have to worry about like detecting object and that kind of stuff.
So it doesn't like it doesn't actually plot itself at route. You kind of like, okay, this is where you are. There's the point where you want you to go. Use the AI that's already created, and then
it's gonna plot its route by itself to get around objects and to get there.
Okay.
So we need to go back to our blueprints. I'm going to create a new blueprint class, and for this one, we are going to have a pawn, because an actor is just a default thing that like it's got nothing built into it. It's just like a blank canvas for us to work on.
Mm-hmm.
A pawn has some built-in movement components that Unreal Engine has had, so it has the pathfinding and that kind of stuff, and all that good stuff.
So like you generally use more of a rule of thumb when selecting what one to use here, like.
Yeah,
like
so
it's like a tree isn't always an actor. It can also be a pawn, for example. Like if you want to do different things. Like if you want like some to throw or like chop it, like and then the arm breaks over the branch.
So that could be a case where you use it. I mean, like there's different ways that you might go about it. You're making a very good guess there, but like for example, how would you use like just physics to like chop the tree and then assimilate physics?
Or for example, like you playing a horror game, and the tree turns into like a monster and starts running around.
Then that would be a perfect situation to use that. Okay. Exactly. So for this character, or for this this little guy walking around, receive input from a controller or walk around. I think this is going to be a character actually, because it says it includes the ability to walk around, so that makes me think that it has the navigation capabilities. Okay. So this is our little Fred. And we open this up, and you can see there's nothing in it, except there's a little bit of different stuff in here. You can see this one has a capsule, and this one has an arrow. Yeah. That's showing, like, that's the collision for it, for when it's moving around, that's what it uses. Okay. And then the arrow is just showing the direction forward. It's a good way to visualize it. Yeah. This arrow doesn't appear in-game, it's just a way to visualize it in here. It'll show which way the movement detects is forward, which way it'll move. So, we have a built-in mesh component here. So all we have to do is the skeleton mesh, actually. So this is anything that has animation that's been rigged up. Our Fred guy is actually just a static object. He's going to move around inside this component, but his arms and stuff don't move. So he's just
his head doesn't move and things.
So we're going to keep this thing empty, and we're going to add another component for static mesh.
Okay.
Bam.
So if you wanted him to be the static mesh as well as say like his arms do that as he walks, then you would have the.
He would just be the skeletal mesh. This is just called mesh here, but it's a skeletal mesh.
Okay, so it's not a case of them both being there. It will be like if his arms move, then he becomes a skeletal mesh. Okay.
As if any part of his like mesh moves, then he's a skeletal mesh.
Okay.
It's not like you can have partly. Anyway, so we have our Fredo static mesh. We're going to look for Fred. There's Fred. Look at him. He's all like metal and stuff because he's broken. Going to drag him down here.
He's a cyborg.
Yeah. Howdy doody. I'm going to compile this just to see if everything works. Go back into our world, drag out our Fred blueprint.
I got this.
You can see he's not going to move around or anything yet. Yeah. And there's just Fred standing there. You can see he has that capsule collision, so we can't walk into him.
Yeah. Also, he flies.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just playing. Yeah, because that's just some of the default movement built into the.
I love being around people in Skyrim.
So you can see he's got his collision, he's all that kind of stuff. Very basic, we haven't given him any code.
Yeah.
So again, with construction script, we have the event graph. We're not going to worry about the construction script.
Okay.
So, 3 things, get rid of that crap.
Nobody wants it.
Yeah. We're going to have, first, we're going to get him to move to random places. Just like have him look around, see where he can move that isn't being obstructed by, say, the tree or rocks or something else. We're not going to add rocks, but we have the tree now.
Yeah.
And we're going to look around and he's going to say, okay, I want to move somewhere. It's just going to be a random location. You can feed in a direct location if you want, but that'll come later. So just finding somewhere random. Okay. So at the beginning, we're going to want him to find his first place. Begin play.
Make him ask if you got any plant district offer.
No. Get out of here. Begin play. Now we've got to think way ahead in this. So we've got to think, what does he need to start with? First of all, he needs to, we're going to be asking him in the future if he's already walking, and if he is, then where's he walking to?
Okay.
So we're going to make a variable here. The first one is going to be, it's a red one, it's called a boolean. Essentially, that's an on or an off. Okay. There's only 2 options for that. You can't like put in a value for it, you can't put in like a string, it's just an on or off switch.
Okay.
Does start walk or does start not?
Yeah. So this one is called is walking, question mark. Doesn't have to be a question mark, it can be whatever, but it's just like a way of understanding what it's asking. So in this situation, we say is walking, And if the box is ticked, then he is walking.
Yeah. Or if it's not,
So,
then
yeah.
it's not.
So we're going to set that as a tick, because now he's going to be walking as soon as we give. Sorry, as soon as we press play.
Okay.
Now we have
Doesn't your voice do what I say?
actually.
I'm narrating you inside
I think
your
no. We're not going to do this yet.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're create a new function. So custom, not a new function, a new event. Sorry, new event. And this is going to be find walk location. So just down here. All we're going to do from the beginning is just trigger that once. So essentially, we're just starting the game, starting his character, going here, and then it's just executing down here.
Okay.
That's all we're doing. Okay, from here, now we have to worry about, we have to think on the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a branch down. Branch. We're going to put a branch. This takes in a Boolean value from your first execution, and depending on whether it's true or false, it's going to let you go in different directions, essentially.
Okay.
There's a lot of different shortcuts for this, like a branch is a very common thing. So for example, like you can press B and click, and it creates a branch.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of different shortcuts in that. Like
Okay.
in other
That stuff will come later. That I'm
Yeah.
not too worried about at this
just a
point.
heads up that those are things.
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't figure
Okay.
as much, but thanks. Right.
So now what we do is we take get is walking, and we have to find the information for that. We have to get the data. We're not saying anything.
Yeah.
And we have to see if he's walking or not.
Yeah.
And now this tells us if he is walking.
What's
He is walking, then we're going to have to wait until he gets to his destination, at which point we're going to set it to not. So we're not going to worry about that yet. First, we are going to say he's not walking. So false, he's not walking, so what we want to do, we want to find a new location. So, simple move to location. That is some of the built-in AR.
Okay.
You're going to have to Google a lot of these things, like say, like how do I get an AR to walk, or like how do I do this one thing, and then they'll give you the name of this like very niche function that you can add.
Okay.
So
I'm sure that is sort of covered in like those starting videos.
Yeah, they will be, but like,
So, like
the
I'm
thing
going
is,
to go through that stuff.
the thing
like
is, there's
this.
a lot of these little things that you don't know what they'll be called.
Okay,
Like you can
so-
take a good guess, like say set scale 3D or something like that, but you might not know what to use as keywords for.
I might end up asking
Yeah.
a whole lot of questions as well.
Yeah. Okay. This is just a simple to move to location. I think we're looking for AI. Simple. Move to Move to. Okay, that's a better one. This is going to actually take the path finding and that kind of stuff. You can see there's more options here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different like things, but that was just, that was like giving him a location and just moving straight towards it.
Okay.
This is actually going to look around and find that kind of stuff. You can see there's a down arrow here, it just gives us more options. Right, so, is he walking? No. Let's find a new location. From here, we're going to see the goal location, and now we have to define a point for it. So we're going to drag this out backwards, and we're going to say
Set random
Get.
point.
get point in navigable radius. This is essentially taking the nav mesh of the area, so like the where he can walk, it's finding a random point in it around him.
Does that ever decide if I'm trying to walk into a place that isn't actually navigable?
Huh?
Does it ever try to walk into a wall?
The thing is, it works in a radius. So like say you have your little character down here and then there's a wall. And then on top of the wall is a wide enough area to walk. If that radius goes above the wall, he might try and get up there. And there might not be stairs, so he's just going to walk into there.
Yeah.
In that case, it'll say on movement request failed. So he walks into the wall and he realizes, I can't get to this place, this is as close as I can get, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Then from there you can bring out this function and call that.
And be like, okay, there's stairs around the corner there, go around there.
Well,
type
he
thing.
might try and find that, but like if it's that kind of situation, then you could say like maybe move to stairs and then from there try again and
Yeah.
get to the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
So that might help, but
Okay.
generally they would look for the stairs in the first case.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is like if there's like no way. Generally, but I don't like it comes down to testing.
Okay.
So we have there's a lot of different things here, like the controller, the goal actor. This kind of stuff is going to take a lot of learning to like learn what all these little terms are.
Yeah.
That's going to be covered very nicely in the Unreal Engine tutorials.
Okay.
So I'd suggest going through a lot of those.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So the origin, we want to start it from where he's standing at the moment and try to find a radius around him. So what we need to do is we need to get out a reference to ourself. So right click and say self here, get a reference to self. This is the reference to the actor, so the blueprint that we have in the world.
Yeah.
So you can drag it out and say get world location. And you can get like a bunch of different names. You can see like where the mesh is for Fredo. So we're going to find that. It's going to go from our blueprint, it's going to find our mesh, and then from our mesh it's going to find the world location of our mesh.
Okay.
And from there, that's going to be our origin. Now the radius, we're just going to set this to the default 3000. Like the units, you kind of have to play around to see what like one actually is in the world, to like figure out how it all works. But you'll get used to it. The 3000 is a big radius essentially.
Is it always the same, like no matter which world you're creating?
Yeah, like each of the levels that you make will have the same kind of scale in them. But yeah, you'll
like for example, like 3000 as you said in it, like your 3D world is the same as if say I'm doing the 2D platform. If I want to go 3000,
generally, yeah,
same.
Yeah, it'll be
relative distance.
Yeah, it will be. Cool. So he's finding a random point in the radius of 3000 around him, and then that is going to be his goal location if he isn't already walking.
Okay.
So now, what we want to say, the nav data and all that kind of stuff is just going to get the default nav data of the world. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
He's pathfinding local logic. Don't worry about that. And now, once this gets called once, what we're going to do is we're going to see this is walking. Going to go over here. We're going to set this to he is walking. So it's a tick box now. Go over there, like that. And now he's on his way, and it says that he is walking. So now, if this ever gets called again while he's walking, it's going to say like, hold up, I've already got a location. Let me just get there first. Then once that's done, I'll do this. I'll do the function.
Okay.
So I don't think we should do anything there. So we go to true now. So we say if he is already walking, then maybe delay it or something and like try again.
So don't you want to like compile that for now? Or?
Yeah, we can compile this. It'll be all fine, I think. Ah, no. Controller. Here we go. So as I was saying before, the controller is like something that you're just going to learn what it is, because it's like there's a lot of these little different terms.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say get controller. Yeah, controller. Essentially, that's all you need to do. Compile. Yeah, there you go. All good.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to see what the default is for this, because if we call this once and it already is true, then he's not going to do anything. So we need to see is walking. Okay, so the default is false. So that's all good. So if we drag this down to the world and we press play, we realize that there's no nav data because if we press P, P is the button to visualize nav data.
Okay.
So we go up into our thing over here, switch nav, and then there's nav mesh bounds volume. Blam. Click that. You can see there's a little square here. That's where he can go.
Okay.
Put that in the middle to 100, 100, 100. There you go. That covers everything.
Oh, okay. So you're just covering where he can walk.
Yeah, I'm just covering the entire wall essentially. So like it shows where it is walkable.
Okay.
So now I click play. Why isn't he walking? You little bastard. Something's wrong. Is this being triggered, right? Should be. Let me just check. What's
Have
this
you tried telling it that there are only two genders?
Bruh, can you get out of these memes? I'm just going to put this default thing here just to check that this whole thing is being fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says hello there. He's not moving. He's a little stubborn bastard. What are we missing here? That should be default. Component. This is all working. Goal actor. Try back to self maybe. Sorry, this is being a little weird now. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, so you move to a place and then he's stopped because he's not being told to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right. So now what we're going to say is on the move request finished, we're going to say that he's not walking anymore because this is when he's gotten to his destination. He's like, cool, now what? So I'm not walking anymore, but now once this goes through, nothing else is going to happen. So we need to tell it to go back to the start again. So find walk location. Blam. This should make him just wander around the world randomly forever on his little mission. Bada bing!
He needs turn time.
AAA game, my dudes. Yeah.
Okay. So like basically every time he stops and turns direction, that was
Yeah.
him resetting the new points.
So what we can do here is we can see.
Okay, there we go. Boom.
Yeah. I'm just going to drag this inside
Okay.
so we can actually see his thought process essentially.
Right.
Right. So we can see his thought process. So he's walking around, he wants to go there. Yeah. You can see how it's going along.
Yeah.
Cool.
So then from there, like you could add now like another string, like say this character would be like, hey. So then he calls him over, and then he comes over, then he stops.
Let's actually do that. Let's show. Cool. So now we're going to have some kind of interruption. So a new customer event. Call over. Call over.
My
And now
parents aren't
this.
home.
Huh?
My parents aren't home.
Your parents?
Aren't home. Call over.
Hey, yo, man, I'm trying to interrupt your function. Cool. So this is going to be the same kind of logic, except we're going to get this guy to move to where the player is. So we're going to copy and paste this. We're going to take the same node up here. Generally, you'll like duplicate this and put it down, but this is just an easy way. Yeah. And we're not even going to worry if he's walking. We're just going to do this no matter what.
Yeah.
Cool. So now the goal location doesn't matter. We're getting the goal actor. Now the goal actor, we're going to have to feed into this from a different class. We're going to go from the third person character.
Okay.
So we're going to go. We're going to promote this to a variable. Sorry. So now it's a new variable down here called actor. Cool. So now we're going to have him as soon as he does this.
Is it the called actor or is it the actor that's calling?
Calling.
No, I'm just...
Yeah, sorry.
I was just curious.
I am bad at names.
No, it's fine.
It's going to be great when I name my kid. Yo, Jennifer. I'm a boy. Shut up.
You identify as a woman now.
Shut up, Jennifer. Trying to get social media points here. Right, so that should all be good. So essentially all I have to do is... This is going to be... I'm going to call this from... Like, I'm going to fire this event from within a different blueprint. So what I want to do is I want to have some different inputs for this.
Okay.
So I'm going to have a new thing here. Calling actor. I'm going to have this as an actor class. Yeah, don't worry about reference or anything like that. It's just an actor.
Okay.
And then just so I don't want to make this unusable, we're just going to set it. So we're going to set the called actor.
What do you mean by unusable?
Like essentially I could just plug this into here and it would mean that all that making would be useless, but I don't want to be used in vain. So it's just going to be there. Essentially it's just setting it, and then it's using this to drive it. So it's essentially like I'm just plugging it in there, but work around.
Okay.
There's no real reason for doing this. It's just whatever. Just trying to have fun, man. Cool. So now we have an output over here. So what we can do is we can compile this. It's all good. And we go into our third person character and say we want to use input C. We're going to use this to call over the character.
Yeah.
So we press this, and I'm just going to do this as before. Get all actors of class. So we're finding everything that's in the world that is this kind of actor. So what are we looking for? We're looking for all the Freds. Freds!
So for example, like if you like you had dogs, it's a game where you're calling dogs, so like all the different dogs, and you whistle once and then all the dogs will come because they're all that type of actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we could do is, this is a different kind of variable. It's still an actor, but what it is, it's a list of actors. So it's called an array, so it's like many different things. So say you have an array of floats, you can have a float of 1.3 or you can have a float of 1.5, and they're just listed right after each other. So it's like, essentially it's just a big list. And these you work a bit differently with, because now you can't necessarily just feed one number in, because it doesn't know which number to look at.
Yeah.
So you have to go through a loop, it's called.
Okay.
So you can see there's one here called for each loop. And this just puts it into here. And whenever we call this, it's going to execute this all those times for each of the actors. So you can see this is a single pin now.
Okay.
So say the first actor on the list is the first dog, or the first Fred. When we execute this first one, this first reference is going to be for the first Fred.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it'll have the index of 0. because it starts at 0 and then it goes 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So
But so if there was only like say there's one thread ever that you know there's only going to be
Yeah.
one, then that specific thing, the loop is not specifically necessary. Like
it is still necessary to because it doesn't know if there's only one. It's just saying
Oh,
get all
okay.
the actors. Like I don't know how many are there. Just gather them up and put them here, and then you kind of do that.
okay.
It's it's just the way people like kind of do things.
No, that's fine. I was just wondering if it could
If
go.
if you
without,
wanted
but
to,
if
then
that's fine.
you could kind of just say get all the actors, and then from here get a copy, and you say which index is it. So like where in the list is it? And if you know there's only one, you can say index 0, and then you have your 1.
Okay.
That's all you need.
Okay.
But for this, since I'm going to put more threads in later, I'm going to say for each loop, because we're going to want to call all the threads over.
Okay.
Because
No,
we are
that's
Fred. We are Fred pimp.
Friend family.
And now it's called call over. So from here, we're going to call that function call over, and now we can see the calling actor, which is our variable that we're putting out here.
Yeah.
So whatever we put in here, put out there. Cool. Who are we calling? Ourselves. Self. Put that in there. Bada bing. So now, when we're done, you can see afterwards I've put all the stuff in afterwards. So once he's called over and he's walked to us,
Yeah.
he's going to go back to wandering around.
Yeah.
So press play. Hello, Fred. He's just walking to me by accident. He's not actually loving me. And then, blam! Get over here, nerd! Ka-jam! And he goes to me and he carries on.
Yeah.
Blam!
And then from there you can,
Interrupt your crap! So you can see,
yeah.
every time I press C, he comes over to me. As soon as he gets to me, he carries on with his business.
So like say if you were like calling over to have a conversation, then at that point you would have
Yeah,
have a new event
you would
where
stop all of his logic.
Yeah.
You would stop his walking to other places, and you'd start a conversation kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's much later though, because that's like, you've got to actually talk.
No, but I'm just
Yeah.
just a
So since I had that for each loop thing, I can now add multiple different threads and create a little army essentially. This is just for funsies. Yoink. Yoink. So you got some freddles, and now if I press C, blam, all over.
Well, one of them didn't give a shit. He
Yeah.
turned off the little-
No, he's trying to get to me. He's just going around the tree. They have no choice but to follow me. It's their only will.
Wait, can you do it?
And now when I go to them, they all get to me and they're like, cool, we're done. What's up now? These guys are very freaky actually with their freaking like double line eyes. God.
What exactly happened?
I don't know, I think
They're all just-
I just dropped a metal function on them. They're all trying to walk into each other now essentially. So what's happening at the moment is they each have their like their destinations that's behind another one.
yeah.
And since they're not dynamic obstacles, they're not actually changing the navigational mesh because rebuilding it is quite a thing. You don't want to do that with like hundreds of NPCs.
Or could it be something out of I Am Robot? And AI naturally wants to cluster together.
Let's go with that. They just love each other. But
Why is that when robots are kept
Essentially.
in containers?
after some time,
They're clustered
hopefully,
together.
when they keep on walking to each other, they're going to realize, hey, I can't get to my destination now. I've told them what to do.
Yeah.
So like it's not like there's no
Okay.
stairs or anything. They just realize I can't get to my destination. So let's set it so I'm not walking now
So
and
like
find a
there,
new destination.
like there,
Yeah.
just
So you can
there.
see they're like whatever.
Yeah.
Go away.
And then just restart it.
Yeah, like
And
little
then-
squidwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have our tree. We have our play.
Remind me of the bastards from Minecraft.
So then you could also set it so that like with your events that if they do like hit on each other for more than like say 3 seconds, then they will immediately go opposite
Sexual harassment.
directions. like theoretically that's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll just have to find the right function to call
Allowed to
it.
hit on me for more than 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't get into my pants in under 5 seconds. You're not good enough.
Or like another thing would be like if it's like a zombie game that when it reaches up to you, then it can start an animation of like trying to bite your neck,
Yeah.
and you've got to like
And
do
then
a
what
quick
it'll
time
do is
events
it'll
or
talk to
something
your,
like that.
your character's blueprint and like maybe take down some information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the basis of it. Are you understanding everything so far? Is
Yeah.
everything making sense?
Yeah.
Because it is quite an abstract thing to like get a grip of.
It's something I've generally always been thinking about, and like when I play games, it's like, oh, okay, how would this like work logically speaking? Like obviously I don't know the intricacies of it,
Yeah.
of like how the engine does it, but like you can see that when like a zombie is like, oh, okay, like a zombie sees you, I'm just gonna come over, like how that interacts.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to say in words, but like it
Like what logic actually goes through it to make these decisions and to make the logic happen.
exactly
essentially. Yeah.
exactly.
Cool. So Is there anything else you want to learn in particular? Or I mean, I can just show you some examples of stuff that I've done, or like.
I think just for now, examples would be good. Like,
I wanna
as I
see
said, I
what
did
you're
tell you
doing
what
with
the end goal of mine is going to be. Like,
Oh,
obviously not
okay.
end goal, but like a base goal of
Yeah.
where to start off and
I'm just going to close this one down
sort of
and
go.
pause the recording.